An Israeli lawmaker once denied Arab history in Palestine because Arabic doesn't have the letter P. That might sound silly, but the claim has been resurfacing on social media lately, so is it true? No. In fact, it kind of proves the exact opposite. The claim is that Arabs can't be native to Palestine because they can't even pronounce it right. You see, in Arabic, there is no letter P. They pronounce it Palestine. To debunk that claim, let's look at a completely different example. Compare the word father in English with the word for father in other related languages. They look pretty similar. The only difference, though, is that F in English corresponds to P in other languages. At first, you might think that's just a coincidence, but it's not. Look at the word for foot, for example, or the word for fish. Consistently, English F corresponds to other languages P. All of these languages are related, which means they come from a common ancestor, and linguists believe that that original language had a P sound. Now, in most of the languages, they just inherited that P, but in the Germanic branch, which would eventually give us English, the P changed to an F. Well, the exact same thing happened to Arabic. Arabic is a Semitic language, and if we look across the Semitic languages at a word like mouth, for example, you'll see that where Arabic has an F, the other languages have a P. So linguists believe that in Old Arabic, like over 2,000 years ago, there actually was a P sound, but it went through that exact same sound change, where P changed to F. And there's plenty more evidence for this, by the way, like how the Greek names Pythagoras and Plato became Pythagoras and Aflatun. But here's where things get even crazier. P going to F was from Old Arabic, but in modern Arabic, whenever a word is borrowed that has the letter P, P is changed to B, which is why Pepsi and pizza become Bebsi and Pizza. So if Arabs pronounced Palestine as Palestine, then maybe you could argue it's a modern loan, but they don't. They pronounce it Palestine, which is proof that the word has existed in Arabic for millennia, old enough to be affected by the P to F sound change. Now maybe you're not convinced. You're thinking, if it really was the original name, it shouldn't have changed at all. Well, guess what? That logic also works against Israel. In modern Israeli Hebrew, Israel is typically pronounced something like Israel, but in biblical Hebrew, it was pronounced completely differently, something like Yithrael. So could I argue that Jewish people aren't indigenous to the land because they can't pronounce Israel right? No, that's a ridiculous argument. Languages are constantly changing and evolving, and regardless, the way in which a people pronounce a region has no bearing on whether or not they have a right to be there.